Okay, here we are on the ground at Stansted, Gate 21, PMDG Boeing 737-800 on PC, although I'm on an MSI gaming laptop, quite high spec, RTX 4080 NVIDIA graphics card, and I'm just going to do a flight from here at Stansted over to Dublin in Ireland. So I'm on the ground. I've already switched on the battery, emergency lights, and I'm already on ground power. Now I'm just going to align the IRS. I know there's a proper way to do this. I'm not a real pilot, but if you are a real pilot, feel free to shoot me down, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm self-taught. All I don't expect to find myself ever flying a real plane in the air, so yeah, it's all for fun. So IRS. And by the way, I'm on virtual reality, obviously. I'm on the Meta Quest 3S, running virtual desktop and the streamer app. It's took me a week to get this working. It's very, very temperamental. I've had lots of issues. Some days it wants to work, some days it doesn't want to work. So today, it's working. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the FMC. This is a bit blurry, my headset. I'll just adjust it. That's much clearer now. Okay, so I've actually got the PMDG air stair connected at the moment, as you can see. And now I'm going to go to the it's a little bit tricky to get it to work. If I remove my hand away, it seems to work. Okay, so nav data, oh, that's because I don't have a Avigraph subscription. So I'm going to go to POS in it, and I need to align my IRS. So on the next page, grab the left coordinates, so they go into the scratch pad, go back and punch them into there, and I should get there we go, artificial horizon. So that's inertia navigation system is aligned. The aircraft now knows, or should know, where it is on the ground. So I'm now going to go for a basic flight plan. I can put this in here. Sometimes there's you can put it in here if you want, but I'm going to go straight to here. So I'm around at Stansted, which is EGSS, and I'm going to Dublin, which is EIDW. There we go. I'm going to take off on runway 22 here at Stansted. So that's that. Now, I'm not going to put a manual route in here. I'm just going to select standard instrument departure and a star for my arrival. Arrive. So I'm runway 22, and that's going to filter down the SIDS, or the standard instrument departure. I'm going to go for this one. So that's that. Depart, arrive. Arrival into Dublin. I'm going to do ILS approach to runway 28 left. So if I press ILS 28 left, that will filter the stars, standard arrivals for that runway. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to go to legs. There's probably some discontinuities in here, so I'll just get rid of that. So if you want to get rid of a discontinuity, you press the waypoint below it and then press the discontinuity, and it gets rid of it. Okay, we have no more discontinuity in there. So flight level 180, 8,000 feet. I'm going to put some speeds in here. So at this particular waypoint, it's got me at 4,000 feet, but more speed. So I'm just, because it's below 10,000 feet, I'm going to stick at 250 knots. Now, if you want to put a speed in here, you'll enter your speed into the scratch pad and click / and then put that in there. And then at flight level 180, I want it at, let's say, 270 knots of indicated airspeed. I'll put that in there. Okay. So that as we're making our approach, our first waypoint is Ikram, 9,000 feet. Again, because we're below 10,000 feet, I'm going to go for 250 knots. Of course, there'd be a proper flight plan here. I'm just winging it. And then 6 nautical miles from Ikram is Lipgo, 240 knots. I'm going to go for 8,000 feet. Now, if you want to put the altitude in here, first you have to put the /, then 8,000. There we go. And then Peacock, again, I want to be at, I'm going to slow down a bit there. I'm going to say 220 knots, /. There we go. So next page, it's already got all this in here. In fact, so I'm at 7,000 at all these waypoints, 230. So the first, well, this one at 220. So I'm going to change that to 230. No point in slowing down and then speeding up again. There we go. Next page. Okay, that looks all good. So then when we get to Lampo, we want to be at 180. And when we get to Maxev, I'm going to slow that down to about 160. There we go. And then we'll arrive at runway 28 left. Now these are our go-arounds, this area. I'm not going to mess about with that today. But basically, that is my flight plan loaded. Cruise was 18,000 feet. Sorry, wrong soft key. That one. Okay, that's the flight plan loaded, and if I go to my tablet, there we are. It's a little bit sticky, the tablet, to be honest. Okay, so that's the flight plan loaded. So I'm now going to program the FMC. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to set the aircraft up. So init ref. So 0 fuel weight. If I click that soft key, it will automatically give me it. Reserve. For some reason, I always click 5 to say I'm not a real pilot. Cost index. I don't fully understand that yet. But apparently it's an indication of how aggressively you want the aircraft to climb. It goes from 1 to, I don't know, 100, something like that. The higher the cost index, the more fuel and the more stress you're going to apply on your engines. I normally keep it low, about 10. As I say, I'm not a real pilot. So transition altitude in the UK, or in Europe, or even UK, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't properly know. It's 6,000 feet. Cruise expected wind, I'm not going to put that in. Okay, N1 limits. So I don't need, I'm gonna skip this page. So takeoff. I'm gonna go for flaps 5. And I'll apply the flaps now. Oh, a bit too far. Okay, where are we? Center of gravity, it should automatically control this. Enter this, sorry. So that gives me my trim, which is 5.12. So here we go. See if that works. That's roughly 5.12. My headset is a little bit blurry at the moment. It's not sitting correctly on my face. That's somewhere near. Okay, and then this is going to give us our V speed. So V1, 146, V2, 147, sorry, VR 147, and V2 is 155. So I'm going to put our initial climb out speed. Oh, too far. 155. I'm going to add 10 knots to that. Don't ask me why, I just see other simmers doing it. The runway is runway 22. Our altitude is going to be 18,000 feet. And we're going to land on runway 28 in Dublin, so I'm going to do an ILS approach if I don't mess it up like I keep doing. It's just a little bit tricky to get the right side of the knob. Okay, so climb out speed 165, runway heading 220, climb out, target altitude, cruise altitude, flight level 180, 18,000 feet. So I'm going to pop the flight director on, auto throttle. These should light up. If they don't, I'll do it after takeoff. So LNAV, VNAV. No, they haven't lit up. So is there something I have done okay? So let's. So they will be activated after takeoff when I engage. Okay, we're ready to get rid of the air stair, close the doors, remove the chocks, push back and start. So I am going to switch on the rest of the fuel pumps. Yaw damper, hydraulics, probe heat, window heat because it's quite cold out there at the moment. Okay, there's lots of other checks around here which I obviously haven't done, so don't be getting excited that I haven't done it. Anything I have missed, feel free to tell me in the comments. Wing and ice on, engine and ice on. Engine bleeds want to be off for the moment. APU bleed on. The packs are on, but when I start the engine I'll need to switch them off. Okay, I'm going to put on the anti-collision light to let people on the ground know that we're going to start doing things. Okay, right, so back to the FMC. FS actions, ground services, wheel chocks, remove the wheel chocks. For some reason everything's just shut down. Must be a bug in the game. So the wheel chocks are removed, which should initiate removal of the air stair, which it has done. That's going away. I have no idea what's happened there. When I removed the air stair, we seem to have lost power, so you know what? I'm going to go straight for an APU start. So this should start moving. Okay, we're going to get an APU in a few seconds. For some reason that also disconnected the ground power. Maybe I've done it the wrong way around. Maybe I should have had the APU running. Boo-hoo. Fire at will. So that's the APU warming up. I'll just bong the cabin, let them know we're going soon. It's not working yet. I've just started using Flight Simulator on the PC version after many years. I've been on the Xbox, but when I got rid of the chocks and the airstay, it didn't use to disconnect the ground power. That was separate. Okay, APU's available. On we go. Power the APU generator, so everything's still programmed. Auto breakers to RTO, flaps to 5, thrust levers idle, parking brake is on, speed brake is down. Yep, that's down. I won't put the ILS frequency in for Dublin just yet. I'll do that when we get closer. Okay, wind lights are going on. And we're ready to push. Okay, push back. So the nose to the right, tail to the left. The tug should be outside now. It should appear from somewhere. If it doesn't, we're buggered. Okay, here we go. Going to start pushing. Now normally the FMC program would start talking now. I don't see the push pull tug there anywhere. Let's see if it starts going back automatically. So normally they would want the parking brake released, which I'll do now. Okay, there's the parking brake released. Now we should start pushing back, if it's working. Ah, there we go. We're just being pushed back imaginarily. Okay. Packs. Get all the way off your bugger. It's a little bit fidgety. Okay, that's all the way off. There we go. Okay, we're going to start engine 2 first, so we should get some activity here. There we go. Ah, there's the tug, push-pull tug, right underneath. Uh, 25% N1, so we'll whack the fuel in. Standard aviation technology, terminology. Okay. Parking brake set. The guy in the push-pull tug, he's already gone off. Maybe he's buggered off. Finished his shift early. Okay, we are good to start engine 1. And N2 is rising. get to 25% N2. Put the fuel in. Let's see if gearbox LNAV V. No, doesn't want to play. Okay, looks like we've got 2 good engine starts, so I'm going to put on the engine generators, so the power's now being applied by the main engines. I'm going to put engine air bleed on, get some air conditioning, APU bleed off, packs to auto, yaw damper on, voice recorder on. Turned itself back off for some reason. Sorry, my headset's going quite blurry. Okay, 2 good engine starts. For some reason my climb up speed has changed. I think it was 165. So many bugs in this game, but I'm persevering and getting some sort of simulation experience out of it. Okay, heading 220. Oh, my altitude's changed as well. Come on. Okay, we're good to taxi. So, taxi lights go. Runway turn off, it's going. Strobe to steady. We don't need the logo light, gear lights. Okay, that's all good. We are ready to go. I'll just put my hand down. I'll move it out the way so it doesn't spoil the view. Okay, I'm using the Boeing, the Thrustmaster TCA Boeing yoke and 2 engines throttle quadrant. So I'm gonna, and I've also got the rudder pedals as well, so I'm going to put both rudder pedals down, which deactivates the parking brake. Actually, it's going to be getting dark soon, so I'm going to put some lights in the cabin. So some on the overhead panel as well. And on the center console. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay, here we go. When that bloody blip get out of the way. Let's move anyway. the hell is going on here? Okay, I managed to get past that little traffic jam. And we're just taxiing to runway 22, one waiting to take off. These hands are a bloody nuisance. I hope he's not just going to stay there like the other guy. If anybody's wondering, I've got my graphics set to high end. I think it's doing pretty well. Okay, we are lining up. Alright, finally we're ready. Still not giving us LNAV VNAV. So that will come after. So take off, shortly after take off, right turn. To follow up. Sid, okay, here we go. I love the view of that wing there. Okay, goodbye Stansted Airport. Here we go. For some reason I'm not picking up speed. Now I am. Okay, there's V1. Oh, bloody hell, not bad with that. VNAV, auto throttle,
PMDG 738,
VNAV,
my airspace frequency change approved.
autopilot command. There we go, the plane is now flying itself.
Stansted Tower, PMDG 738 frequency.
Okay, we've just reached top of descent, so we want to be down. Our next altitude is going to be 9,000. Bring the MCP altitude down to 9,000. In fact, what I prefer to do is use the vertical speed for descent. It gives you a little bit more control. So for now we'll start at 1,000 feet per minute. When we get to Ikrum, which is in about 26 miles. We want to be at 9,000 feet. 250 knots. So since we're still above 10,000, I'll bring this, our indicated airspeed, to 250 knots. And we're descending at about 1,000 feet per minute. In fact, I'll slow that down a little bit to about 700 feet per minute, and we should get there just nicely. We are cruising over the Irish Sea towards Dublin. Nice evening. And you can see up ahead there I assume is the west coast of Ireland. Yeah, so about 20 nautical miles. We're going to be at 9,000 feet, 250 knots. We're currently at 16,600 feet. We're already at our target speed. And now we're just making a right turn towards Ikram. We're just passing the Albin waypoint, so just over 18 nautical miles. Our altitude is coming down nicely. Okay, because we're doing ILS approach to runway 28 after Dublin, I need to program the ILS frequency. It's so for 28 left is the frequency is 111.35. Punch that in. 111.35. I'm not going to do a full auto land. I'll disengage autopilot just before we touch down and land manually, if I don't mess it up. So we've got about 10 nautical miles to go till we need to be at 9,000. We're currently at 15,000, so I'll just speed up that rate of descent. Auto brake is set to 3 for our landing. And there's another bug. This screen seems to go off by itself. It actually did that on Xbox as well. Okay, so it's telling us it's unable to reach 250 knots at Ikram. I don't know why, because we're already at that. And this is our route, what we're going to be taking. In fact, I'll make that full screen. I don't know why the screen's flickering, it's quite annoying. Okay, because we're approaching 10,000 feet, landing lights are going on, strobes are still steady. Tell everybody to sit down. Seatbelts on. I'll just speed up that rate of descent a little more, just so we make our target altitude at Lipgo.
PMDG 738
want to be
contact
at
Shannon Center on 132.15.
8,000 at Lipgo. Okay,
Going to 1 tree 2
coming down
decimal
nicely
15
now.
PMDG 738. Shannon Center PMDG 738 12,400 feet.
PMDG 738 Shannon Center QNH 101 tree continue as planned.
Okay, so we're picking up speed because I've increased the rate of descent, so I'm going to bring the speed brake out a little bit to keep our speed down. Not to stop it getting too high. And if I look out on the wing,
PMDG 7 tree 8 contact.
see the
double
speed brake
approach
out.
on 1 tree decimal 28. Good day.
1 tree decimal 28 PMDG 738.
okay, I think I can bring that speed brake back in a second. Throttles are idle. Okay, we're almost at 8,000 feet, so the nose should be starting to lift now. Okay, speed brake is in. In fact, no, I'll leave it out so we can bleed off some speed. So our next altitude is 7,000 feet. Right turn following our flight plan. Speed brake going back in, and I'm going to bring our speed down to 230 knots. Okay, so now we are following this route. We're following this route all the way at around 7,000 feet. 230 knots indicated airspeed. It's going to be like that for about 35-40 nautical miles. Okay, we're almost at Delta Whiskey 706, and then we have 18 nautical miles to go to Lampo, where we need to be at 180 knots, 3,000 feet. So I'll actually start descending now. So we're at 7,000 feet. We'll bring this back to 3,000. It should descend itself. It should start descending itself, but we'll see. To be sure, I'll just like to use the vertical speed option. So let's go for around 1,000 feet a minute, and it's bringing us down nicely. We're doing a left turn now to follow the flight plan. We'll just reduce that rate of descent a little bit.
Shannon Center, Ryanair 6560 is at flight level tree 15, climbing flight level tree 70. Ryanair 6560 Shannon Center, continue as planned.
So our next turn is a right turn onto final. So here you can see this white dotted line is actually the centre line of the runway. So our altitude is coming down nicely. I'm going to start reducing our speed to 180 knots, which is what we should be when we reach Lampo. Okay, so that speed's going to come down nicely. Just speed up our rate of descent a little bit. 900.
Shamrock Tree 56 climb.
In fact, I can see the airport
3,500 feet.
in that direction.
Climb and maintain 3,500 feet. Shamrock Tree 56.
Okay, we should be getting a localizer soon.
Shamrock
The
Tree 56 climb.
MT
and maintain
Magenta
flight level
Diamond.
Tree 60.
When that comes, I'll be activating the VOR localizer. That'll turn us onto runway heading.
Climb and maintain flight level
In
tree
fact, we
60.
are already
Shamrock
picking up the
Tree
glide slope.
56.
In fact, I could activate all that right now if I wanted, but no need. Altitude's coming down nicely. I'll just speed up our rate of descent a little bit more. 1,000 feet per minute. Speed brake can come out a bit just to bleed off some speed. Yeah, we're going to make this 3,000 feet nicely. In fact, our next altitude is 2,500, so we'll go to that.
Shannon Center, Shamrock 6561, 1,000 feet. Shamrock 656, Shannon Center, QNH 101 tree, continue as planned.
Okay, this is going to be perfect. So we're going to hit Lampo at 3,000 feet.
Shamrock 656 traffic is 8 o'clock, 2
We're a
miles
little fast.
at 300 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Okay, we're just leveling off now at 3,000. No, we're not. We're going to go
Shannon
straight
Center,
to
Ryanair
2,500.
1958, 1,100 feet.
So that should be ample time
Ryanair 1958, Shannon Center, QNH 101
for us
tree,
to bleed
continue
off
as
that
planned.
final speed. So we are now turning on to final.
Ryanair 1958
I'm gonna
traffic
activate
is 3 o'clock 3 miles at 3,500 feet
VOR
generic.
localize.
Report
Okay,
them
we've
in
got a
sight.
localizer straight away. We're pretty well lined up.
Shamrock 656 have the
I'm going to
generic
start
in
bringing the
sight.
flaps out.
Ryanair
Speed
1958 have the generic in sight.
is going to come down to 160. We've got a glide slope. Activate approach hold. Bring the flaps out a little more. Gear down. We're a little high. We're bang on centre. We are at flaps 5. Speed's bleeding off still. Need to be at 160 knots and 2,500 feet when we hit max EV, which we have just done. That's perfect. I'll bring the flaps out a little bit more. Okay, we're descending, we're on the glide slope. Runway 28 left at Dublin. It's amazing the price of the Guinness in Dublin. Really expensive. Every time I go there, the price keeps doubling and doubling. I hope you found that funny. Yeah, I'm going to add another 5 knots of speed so we don't drop too low. Flaps 40. There's our localizer. You can see the slats are out there.
Center Speedbird 837 is at 1,000 feet, climbing flight level tree 60. Speedbird 837 Shannon Center QNH 10, tree continue as planned.
I haven't got any minimum set here. I normally do it at around 300 feet. It's not giving me an altitude call out. Bang on profile.
Speedbird 837 traffic is 5 o'clock tree miles at 200 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Okay. Autopilot disconnect.
Speedbird 837 traffic in sight.
30, 20, 10.
Bit of a wobbly landing, but it's okay, all good.
Shannon Center Ryanair 24 is passing 1,000 feet, climbing flight level tree 70. Ryanair 24 Shannon Center QNH 101 tree continue as planned.
Okay, welcome to Dublin. Some strange reason, auto brake is keeping us still. Okay, we're allowed to move now. I don't know why I'm getting that warning. My flaps won't come up. I appear to have lost my flight controls. What the hell, we're here safely. any landing you walk away from is a good landing. Taxi lights on. All my buttons appear to have stopped working. But anyway, that's that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And